Can you imagine a supervisor who forces black employees to use broken, filthy restrooms while white workers get clean facilities? Makes brilliant college graduates scrape gum off tables while promoting white temps, and screams at black women for simply asking to use a microwave. But what he doesn't know is that the quiet black intern he's been tormenting is secretly recording every cruel word, because in 2 weeks she'll inherit the entire company and expose his reign of terror in the most explosive takedown that will send him away in handcuffs? If you love interesting stories like this that expose the truth, please give this video a thumbs up and tell us in the comments section where in the world you are watching this video, and also do well to smash that subscribe button. The scorching heat of Atlanta pressed down like a heavy blanket. In a forgotten corner of the city, between a broken-down gas station and a rusted auto shop, stood a small, crumbling building. This was the forgotten branch of Davidson Corporation, a place where dreams came to die. But on this sweltering Monday morning, something different walked through those doors. Her name was Benita Washington, and she was about to change everything. Benita looked ordinary enough. A young black woman in her early 30s, wearing simple clothes and carrying a worn backpack. Her ID badge read intern. But what nobody knew was that she was the heir to the entire Davidson empire. In 2 weeks, she would become the company's president. But today she was invisible. I want to see the truth, she had told herself. Not from boardroom reports or fancy presentations. I want to feel what my workers feel. So she hid in plain sight, ready to discover the dark secrets buried in her family's company. The first sign came within hours. When Benita asked a young white employee named Chad where the restroom was, he pointed down a dark hallway. "Don't use the one near the break room," he mumbled, not meeting her eyes. "That one's not for you." Benita's heart sank. She walked to the back restroom. Dirty, broken, forgotten. The message was clear. Black employees weren't welcome in the clean facilities. But this was just the beginning. Frank Mitchell was the operations manager, a large, red-faced man who ruled the office like a king. When Benita reached for coffee in the break room, his voice boomed across the room. "That's for staff only," he barked, his eyes cold as ice. "Interns don't count. Company policy." The other employees, all white, laughed quietly. Benita backed away, her fists clenched so tight her nails dug into her palms. This wasn't just rudeness. This was a system. Day after day, Benita watched the poison spread. Black employees like Tyrone, a brilliant man with 2 college degrees, were forced to scrape gum off tables while white temps got promoted. Keisha was screamed at for asking to use the microwave. Jamal was made to mow Frank's lawn on weekends, without pay. In hushed conversations, she heard supervisors joke about diversity quotas and how it was easier to stick them in cleaning roles. Benita's blood boiled, but she stayed silent. She was gathering evidence, building a case that would destroy this machine of hate. Benita began recording everything. Hidden in her pocket was a tiny device, capturing every cruel word, every racist joke, every illegal order. One day, she caught Frank talking to Jake, a nervous white intern. "Listen, I don't care what her resume says. She's here to clean. That's what we use them for. Corporate just wants to see brown faces in the diversity report. They never actually check." Jake shifted uncomfortably, but Frank just laughed. "Play ball with me, and you'll go far. Just don't waste time trying to help people who don't know their place." Benita's hands shook as she listened. This wasn't just racism. It was a conspiracy. Late one Friday night, Benita snuck into Frank's office. Her heart pounded as she opened filing cabinets marked personnel. What she found made her sick. Spreadsheets showed black employees listed as no promotion path from day one. There were handwritten notes about using the community fund to pay black workers to do Frank's personal chores, washing his car, cleaning his house, babysitting his kids. They were being used as slaves. Benita photographed everything, her hands steady despite her rage. She now had proof of labor violations, wage theft, and systematic discrimination. The evidence was overwhelming. Frank Mitchell was going down. The quarterly meeting arrived like a storm. The conference room was packed with managers, board members, and employees. Frank stood at the front, smug and confident, giving his usual boring speech about teamwork and progress. Then came the moment for employee feedback. The room fell silent. Nobody ever spoke during these meetings. But today was different. Benita stood up slowly. Every eye turned to her. Frank's smile faltered. "I'd like to say something," she said, her voice cutting through the silence like a blade. "But first, I need to introduce myself properly." She walked to the front of the room, removing her intern badge. "My name is not just Benita. I'm Benita Washington, the sole heir to Davidson Corporation. In 2 weeks, I become your chairwoman." The room exploded. Gasps, whispers, shocked faces. Frank's face went white as a sheet. "I came here undercover," Benita continued, her voice growing stronger, "because I wanted to know the truth about this company. What I found disgusted me." She clicked a remote. The projector came to life, showing Frank's recorded conversations, the forged documents, the videos of Tyrone mowing Frank's lawn. The room was dead silent. Board members stared in horror. Employees sat frozen, watching their tormentors' crimes exposed for all to see. "This is not just racism," Benita declared, her voice now thundering with authority. "This is theft. This is fraud. This is the systematic abuse of human beings." She turned to Frank, who was now trembling. "You're finished," she said quietly. "Security will escort you out. Criminal charges are being filed as we speak." Frank Mitchell was led away in handcuffs, his reign of terror finally over. The room erupted in applause, not for Benita, but for justice itself. "To everyone who was silenced, humiliated, and forgotten," Benita announced, "your voices matter. Your dignity matters. And today, we begin to heal." In the weeks that followed, Davidson Corporation transformed. Benita fired every manager involved in the discrimination. She created new policies, hired independent investigators, and personally called every affected employee. Tyrone was promoted to department head. Keisha became a team leader. Jamal received back pay for years of stolen wages. The company that once crushed dreams now lifted them up. Months later, Benita returned to the Atlanta branch. But this time, she wore a business suit and her real name badge. The building looked different, brighter, cleaner, hopeful. Tyrone stopped her in the hallway, tears in his eyes. "I don't know how to thank you," he whispered. "You don't need to thank me," Benita replied. "You just needed someone to listen." As she walked through the hallways where she once suffered in silence, Benita smiled. The company was more than just profitable now. It was just, and in the end, that mattered more than any amount of money. Sometimes the most powerful person in the room is the one who chooses to stand with the powerless. Benita Washington didn't just inherit a company. She inherited a responsibility. And when she chose to use her power to lift others up instead of keeping them down, she proved that true leadership isn't about commanding from the top. It's about fighting from the bottom. What would you do if you discovered injustice in your workplace? Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is simply tell the truth.